And we are live on YouTube. Well, more specifically, I'm live next to just a blank space where Rob should be. But you are there, Rob, aren't you?
I am here in the dark. My camera was working 5 minutes ago and now is not.
Yeah, I mean, this is likely going to be the best episode we've ever made. For several reasons. One, because we can't see you and you're having multiple technical issues. Number two, because clearly I'm not in the studio. I'm just at home waiting for a delivery, a collection. Really boring. And what's the other thing? I'm just using my... If you could see the setup, basically I've put the MacBook on my son's dining room chair, which is about this. He's 2.5. It's about that big. So it's sat on his dining room chair with a power cable reaching with all sorts of health and safety issues across the room, plugged into the side. It's a mess, basically. And I think you've just very hastily filled in a outline as well. So it's about. I mean, we're never organised really. Very, very little organisation goes into it, and we nearly always have technical problems with 8 or 16, 4 years in. But this is probably this is peak disorganised, terrible production, and I'm really proud of it. And also, I feel fairly terrible as well. I'm not in the best shape. Are you feeling all right? Are you top form health-wise?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Okay. Not too bad.
Every cloud. But we are live, and while Rob's doing God only knows what behind the scenes, I should use, I suppose, this little opportunity to say that we are on YouTube now. And we have been on YouTube for quite a while. If you weren't aware of that, if you've been listening to the podcast on your podcast player for the last few years, you can see me. You can normally see Rob as well, rather than just nothing. But yeah, pop over to YouTube, and we do this live now as well, which adds all kinds of jeopardy, which is, as we can see today, and equally makes it very, very unpredictable when this actually happens. It's a lot of fun, basically. I think this might be the best podcast, the best tech podcast out there. And this is what you call filling, because we could just do it like this. Can you put like an avatar on your side? Can we do that? I think we should put an avatar there.
Hold on.
I think that would be funny. Can't you use Image Playground to create? Have you done that already on the Apple Intelligence?
I have. Do you want to see my Apple Intelligence avatar? It makes me look about 12.
Let's use that. Let's go for it.
Let's see if I can dig that out.
If this isn't an excuse for people to come and join us on YouTube, I have no idea. We've got quite a few people watching this morning, actually. Hi guys, welcome on board. I say a lot, 6, but it's a lot for this live stream.
Jan's gone into full IT support mode. She's asking if I flicked the lens cover over. Very good.
Very good point. It has happened. Okay, while Rob is doing that, let's have a look at this outline. What we're talking about. There's one main thing we're talking about today, obviously, because it was quite a big week last week for one particular product and brand. But what else have we got on? What do we want to talk about to begin with? Barcelona. Is it worth talking about Barcelona very quickly?
Yes, I think you should. You tell us about Barcelona while I figure out what I'm doing here.
Fine. Not that exciting, really. But I was in Barcelona. So we're recording this on Friday, and I was in Barcelona at the start of this week for a thing called TP Vision Live, which I'd never heard of before. But it's basically a thing that happens every year. It's been happening for quite a few years, normally in Barcelona. And it's where Philips shows off their latest TVs and headphones and all that sort of stuff, and it's done in conjunction this year with Bowers and Wilkins, which is why I got the invite along to go and see what was going on, and it was great. It was only there for 3 days, and obviously just 2 of those were for the event. Got to see all the new Ambilight TVs. Have you ever owned an Ambilight? Oh wow!
There you go.
Yeah. What was your instructions for the background on this one?
I don't think I specified. That's just what it came out with.
It's just picked some random Christmas tree lights behind you. Wow.
Well, I guess I probably did it around Christmas, and maybe that's what it does. Although I mean, I came off better than my brother-in-law. So obviously, it's based.
Oh no, we haven't lost Rob, have we? He's still there, Rob. It was all going so well.
Am I back?
Okay. Oh, you're back. You're back. Your avatar's gone. If this video performs better than my S25 Ultra review, I'm going to stop the main channel.
Hold on.
Turn it off.
What is happening? I'm having all sorts of drama this end. I now can't click on anything.
Ironically, I think this might be the biggest audience we've had as well at this time of recording.
So we've got the biggest audience we've ever had, and it's all gone wrong.
Absolute car crash. Yeah, you're back.
So what was I saying? Oh, so I was saying So you know the image playground. It dips into your photo gallery and gets makes it Pixarifies you. This is how my brother-in-law came out. Just made him extraordinarily happy about a big sausage.
Was the sausage? Was that requested? No.
No.
Why is he? He's leaning forward, isn't he? Just to illustrate that he's exceptionally happy about that sausage. Is it two sausages? I think it is. Isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I guess AI struggles with doing sausages like it does fingers. It's a weird kind of MC Escher sausage, isn't it?
That's incredible. Does he look like that? Does it bear any kind of resemblance?
No, I mean, yeah, it's recognisable. Well,
Okay.
as recognised. Well, yeah. So as similarly recognisable as I am. Well, hang on. What's happening there? Let's get rid of.
Can we get him on? Is he free now? Can we dial him in?
Hold on. No, right. No. What's happened here?
It's just getting better. That's what's happening. I was talking about Ambilight TVs as well, Rob. That was much more interesting.
Yeah. Oh well, no. So the TV I had before I got my LG B whatever it is OLED one, that was a Philips Ambilight, and it hooks into all of your Hue setup. So my entire living room, when watching films and TV, would be colour matched to what was on the screen, and it works brilliantly. It's a really nice immersive effect as well.
It does, yeah. I'm struggling to maintain a straight face. Oh, he's gone now. I was looking at your brother-in-law your brother-in-law's sausage. There's the show title, and yeah. No, so it's my first kind of up close and personal experience with Ambilight stuff, and it's really cool. And obviously, the new version of it is AI, because of course it is. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, I like it. Might get one into review. I think it might be worth having a quick look at. Obviously, these are the 2025 TVs, so they won't be launched until a few months' time. But that was the main gist of it, really. And obviously, Bowers & Wilkins have this tie-in with them as well, so you can buy a version of some of the TVs that have a Bowers & Wilkins sound system in, which we got to listen to and predictably sounded very nice.
I mean, they've been doing that for a while.
They have, yeah. They've been, yeah.
Are they detachable now? So I think the issue I had with it before was like, okay, it's a great soundbar, but they were always sort of physically bolted onto the display.
No, they are detachable.
They are.
Yeah, they've got magnets, and they've also kind of cut out the kind of circumference of the TV stand, so you can just slot it on very neatly. But yeah, they're completely separate, which is nice. I take it your camera's just not going to work, Rob, at all.
Yeah,
is it?
I don't think it's happening, is it? I'll see if I can get an actual photo of me. I don't really take photos of myself. I guess you've got thousands of them, haven't you? You've just, this would be easy for you.
I've got a lot. Yeah, I've got well, not here. I mean, ironically, I'm not at the studio, so I've got less things I could use here. But yeah, don't worry. This is fine. I'd switch to my avatar, but I suppose people who are watching on YouTube need some kind of moving picture, don't they? Sorry, yeah, back to Barcelona. But that was my trip. It was basically to see the new Philips stuff.
And is this your first experience of Philips TVs?
Yeah, up close and personal like that. I've never owned one. I've had friends with them in the past, obviously, but yeah, never actually had one myself.
What's your position on the Ambilight?
I'd need to experience it at home. I think really. I mean, they were playing on the fact. I think as they always have done, is that it's better for your eyes. You know, overall for long watching sessions, it for some reason helps. I'm not sure why. They did explain, but I can't quite remember. But yeah, it's kind of an eye comfort thing, and you know, it makes it more immersive, etc. So some of it, I know you can dial it down, you can change how it works, but it was a bit overpowering on some of these demo units. I found myself spending more time. This maybe just because I'm a bit of a nerd, but trying to looking at the way that it was changing the colours based on what was on the screen. You know, the way it was kind of picking up the what was from the content of the picture, and then turning that into these LED lights. But I don't know. I mean, I'd have to spend time with it before having full judgment. Is it gimmicky? Does it actually make it more immersive? Does it help your eyes? I don't know.
From personal experience, I would say it does make it more immersive. And I don't know how much I buy into the eye comfort thing. I mean, yeah, I guess it's, what do they call it? They call it like compensation lighting or something.
Yeah.
Like bias lighting. So yeah, to give you the perceived. I think it's to reduce the extremes of contrast between your darkened room and the content on your TV. It just is allegedly meant to make it a less straining experience for your eyes. I just liked it because of the pretty colours.
Yeah, it does look nice, doesn't it?
Which are, they're just too extreme. There's like a vivid mode, which is like, when you crank up the vivid mode on your Samsung phone, and it's a bit too much for me personally. But yeah, no, if you can tune it in so that it's a really nice, ambient, tasteful, it just illuminates your room in complementary colours to what you're seeing on the display, and it's really nice. So I would absolutely buy another Philips TV. I only didn't this time round because I got a ridiculous deal on an LG.
You did.
What was it? I can't even remember the model number. It's only a B series, so it's their budget series. But it was like what size is it? 55-inch OLED TV from LG, which is a decent make for way less than £1,000. I think it was about £700 or something, which is rude not to. But although the first one had developed a fault, did I ever tell you about that?
You didn't tell me about that, no.
So it developed a fault with the power system, such that you'd be watching it, it would just turn itself off, and then the sort of red power indicator light at the bottom would flash continuously. Apparently, this is quite a common issue with LG TVs. So like if it detects even the slightest power fluctuation, or if it's unhappy about anything, it'll just kill itself. But I got it from Costco, so it's got a 5-year warranty on it. So they just swapped it out, and they were very efficient. And the new one's been fine. So that should be good. So you've been to Barcelona. You saw some Philips TVs. You're on the fence about Ambilight, but you quite like the Bowers and Wilkins sound systems. But you've got to go back to Barcelona in March, haven't you? I presume you're going to MWC.
I'm indeed, yeah. So, Mobile World Congress, which I can't even say. I can't do anything this morning. MWC, for those who don't know, it's basically a bit like CES, but it's just pretty much smartphones, mobile devices, a few TVs and things thrown in, but mainly mobile stuff. But we'll be there, and that is indeed at the start of March. I love Barcelona though, so it's not a chore. I love going there. Oh, hello, have we got you? No.
There we go. That's my actual face, not my 12-year-old boy avatar.
That's better. That's much better. So we'll be going back for that, which is over the course of a few days, which is exciting. I say it's exciting. I mean, most stuff has been launched already, although there are 2 or 3 devices which I think we may even come on to a bit later, which one in particular is going to be quite exciting. But a lot of it is just showing things that we're aware of already. But it's having the chance to get people into a big room and shout about it and show it all off.
Are you going there under your own steam, or have you got lots of prior engagements? And
Possibly, yeah. In terms of the latter, we're just kind of rounding a few other things off. But we'll be doing another awards, so we will be doing an awards video again because that worked so well for CES. So another one of those will be on the way. But yeah, still in the midst of planning all this stuff. A lot of this stuff happens so last minute, you wouldn't believe. It's pretty frightening how short notice certain things are.
yeah, that awards gimmick was a stroke of genius. Yeah, because I've seen all the brands. They're all just they've all been like tweeting you, and that was very well received.
I wish I could say it was my stroke of genius, but it wasn't. Someone else's. But no, it's worked really well. Yeah, I think it's inspired a few other creators of my size as well to do similar things. So, yeah, it was a great idea by the team. Again, not an original idea because this is something that's always happened at these shows. But these awards tend to be given out by the big publications, not little old YouTube channels like mine. But yeah, it was good fun. So we'll be doing that again at MWC. But yeah,
on the subject of things working well, your new newsletter format seems to be going down a treat, doesn't it?
Yeah, which I should be plugging. I should have plugged that at the start of this as well. So if people do want a behind the scenes look into what goes on, etc., but also we're packing it in now with lots more content. So it's an email that you get every week, and it's got this behind the scenes video. Some rambling from me, some content we find interesting, what I've been watching on YouTube myself that week. But we're also going to be building in some offers and exclusive deals and things from brands that we work with. So it's becoming a more comprehensive thing. The other big thing we've done is introduce the Discord server to it as well. So whereas before you could only join the Discord server where we met, Rob, you and I met here, and a lot of the people who are watching now are on that as well. Originally that was only a thing for people who joined the Patreon. We've decided to add a free tier for anyone who joins the newsletter. So if you sign up to the newsletter list, you get free access to the Discord server. You don't get full access to the entire thing. There's certain channels which we keep for members only, but you get quite a bit of it, and we've had a few new members, haven't we? They've been coming through the doors.
And well, that's has the Discord been advertised on the newsletter? Or is that just from that? That was the first time I became aware that you had opened it up to a wider audience. Was your S25 Ultra video? That's the only place it's been advertised so far, isn't it?
Pretty much until today, yeah, pretty much just there, which is says a lot. We'll come on to that video, I'm sure, but yeah, that video has brought most of the new people in.
It's brought in a good half dozen new faces, which is fun. So yeah, well, I guess we'll probably put a link in the show notes for this as well, because we always talk about the Discord, and we've never actually said how you get on it.
Yeah, and we mentioned
figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, and people get referenced, and no, we never explain who these people are. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll put a link down below just so if you want to check it. It's completely free, and you can unsubscribe obviously if you don't enjoy it, which no hard feelings obviously, but yeah, go and check it out if you haven't done already. Should we talk about Samsung Unpacked? Because that's the big thing that's happened in between the last show, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm assuming you didn't fly out to the Google HQ for the global launch, did you?
No, so it was at in San Jose. The actual Unpacked was over in America, but no, didn't go to that. But I did go to the event in London, which I've been to for the last couple of years. And Fern Cotton was there as always. She hosts that because she's a big Samsung AI user apparently. And picked up my review unit as well. So I've got the S25 Ultra here, which I got last week. And firstly, I presume you're not getting one. I think you said you kind of confirmed this last time, but have you got any inclination to trade in your S24 Ultra?
Well, I went all the way through to checkout to see, because I play the game every year. I go in and I sign up for Galaxy Unpacked, and there are various things that you could do. I mean, this year they did quite a strange thing where you could pay them £50 up front in exchange for a £100 coupon if you then went to make an order. And then if you didn't make an order, they'd refund you. But that, I don't remember them doing that before. That was quite weird. But I mean, every year you can just coupon stack like mad and get a bunch of free stuff. So this year you could, if you pre-ordered, and I think the deadline's past now. I think you had to do it before the 26th or something, or maybe it's the 2nd of February. I don't know. It may or may not be open. But basically, if you watched the live stream, then or you signed up to receive notifications about the live stream, you would have got a coupon that entitled you to 10% off. So straight off the bat, you got a coupon that gave you 10% off, and then depending on whether or not you gave them 50 quid up front, you could get a £50 coupon or a £100 coupon. And there was something else. And there's also, if you pre-order, you can get some Galaxy Buds 3, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, gathering all of the possible combinations of coupons that I could get my hands on, I got and trading in the S24 Ultra, I could have got an S25 Ultra for £592, which is not bad, actually. No. That's pretty good. But I didn't do it. And then a couple of days later, they sent me an email with another coupon, which brought it down to £522. So yeah, so I with trading in an S24 Ultra, I could have got an S25 Ultra for £522, which on the face of it seems like too good to miss, really, except the fact that it's basically the same phone. So everything that I've seen about it is that it's an S24S, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Absolutely. Yep.
So I mean, I'm unmoved by the new design. I like the rounded corners, because one of the things about the S24 Ultra is those square edges, which you've always been a big fan of. But I don't know, that when you're sort of because it's a big heavy phone, and when you're gripping it in your palm, those non-rounded edges do dig into it. So on the one hand, I'm quite pleased about it, because I imagine it's more comfortable to hold. It's lighter as well now, isn't it? It's like 17 grams lighter, which
noticeably as well.
Which doesn't. Well, it's the same as when the iPhone went from the iPhone Pro Max went from stainless steel to titanium. That was a similar drop in weight, and that is noticeable and appreciated. I've forgotten what I was talking about. Oh, the look. The look. Yeah. I think it's lost some of its character. It's completely shed its Note heritage, which is what made it stand out from other phones. But it now just looks like a big normal Galaxy phone. It's kind of cheapened it, in my opinion, because it just looks like a big S25, if you see what I mean. I mean, obviously it's got more camera bumps. And then on the subject of the camera bumps, it's got those colossal lens rings on a system that is identical for two of the three cameras.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bit strange, isn't it?
So the main and the telly are the same as last year. They've upgraded the ultra wide to 50 megapixels, which will also help with your macro shots, because it flips to that when you're doing your macros. But yeah, I'm not a fan of how it looks. I'm also not a fan of the squared off edges, because it's such a big and heavy device. On the S24 Ultra, you still had a subtle sort of curve on those edges, which was nice. So I think it swings and roundabouts. Well, whilst those rounded off corners will feel nicer, I think the squared off edges will make it feel like a brick.
Yeah, in reality, it doesn't really feel too different, I don't think. Given the choice, a bit like you, I'd rather have slightly rounded edges here, just because, like you say, digs in a little bit. But weirdly, that change they've made to the screen, which is very, very minor, but having these kind of slightly rounded, which are nowhere near as rounded as the iPhone, it just refines it a little bit. I think it just looks a little bit more refined. But it's tricky, isn't it? What more do you do with a phone apart from keep going backwards and forwards between rounded corners and squared off edges? And it's very tricky to I wouldn't want to be in charge of changing the way these things look. What you said about the Note thing's interesting, because it is looking less and less like the Note that it came from. And interestingly, if people aren't aware, although I think most people are by now, the S Pen, although it is still there, they've removed the Bluetooth functionality, which means you can't use it to remotely take photos. And I think the air gestures, they've gone as well. It's basically just a pen, a stylus now, which has got a lot of the S Pen Massive, who always flood my comment sections pretty wet trousered. But a lot of people who've kind of got involved in the comments have said that apparently Samsung has done this. I don't know how these people know this, or even if Samsung have said this officially, but apparently their research proved that not enough people were using those features to make them worthwhile. Then I've read a few other comments from people saying, well, maybe this is them gradually removing it entirely. Perhaps the S26 Ultra won't have a stylus. An S Pen, sorry.
No, I can't see that happening.
Well, it's a differentiating feature, isn't it? And what benefit would removing it have? Nothing really, would it? It doesn't impede the design. If you never use it, you don't know it's there. I always forget it's there because I never use it. It's one extra thing.
Removed the Bluetooth functionality. They allege that no one was using it. But I'm not a big fan of the S Pen. But the one thing that I did use it for was the remote shutter.
It's the only thing that occasionally genuinely was useful. If you're out with a whole bunch of people, like a big family group, and you think, we need to take a photo. Several times I've wedged my Ultra somewhere, taken the S Pen and done it's genuinely useful. Can't do that anymore. So, like you said, the one thing that I used it for is gone. But yeah, I like the design. I still think this is the best looking flagship smartphone. I think it looks better than the iPhone. And I love there's two reasons for this. One is the display, which is still, and again, a lot of people don't agree with me on this. Well, I think you agreed with me, didn't you, last year on this one with the S24 Ultra? It's the best display I've ever used on a smartphone. Super bright, and it's got that anti-reflective coating, which they've slightly improved over the previous version, which was still very good.
Wow, on paper.
On paper,
you can't. You side by side, you can't actually tell. But I mean, I do agree with you in all things considered, the display on the S24 Ultra and the on paper slightly improved one on the S25 Ultra is spectacular. That coating, that anti-reflective coating, is witchcraft.
Yeah,
and I want it on
if
everything.
I get my iPhone, let's try and do a demonstration. Again, another reason that people should be watching us on the YouTubes. There's the iPhone. There is the. You can see there. It's a very bright window. In reality, it just makes it more legible in bright sunlight, and you don't have to crank up the brightness quite as much to compensate for reflections. So. Again, just a usability thing, which makes a big difference.
Well,
but it's just
a good point, because it gets no brighter than last year, does it?
No, it's the same.
Its peak brightness is 1600 nits or something, which is
no, it's 2006.
Is it
2600, isn't it?
Sorry.
Yeah.
But when you've got things like the Honor Magic 7 Pro, which can go up to 5000 nits, it looks a bit pony now, doesn't it?
It does, although that's a bit of creative marketing there, I think, isn't it, with the Honor stuff. But it does go up to 5,000, but it's in very exceptional circumstances.
Peak highlights.
Yeah, but no, my comparison between the S25 Ultra and the iPhone 16 Pro Max, funnily enough, goes live this weekend, and that's quite interesting, I think. But I love it. It's still an awesome phone, I think, but it makes no sense to go for this over the S24 or the S23.
Well, so that. Well, I usually play the upgrade game every year. I have done for 3 years on the trot. I declined this year, but partly because as I said towards the end of last year that I was going to try and buy less stuff this year. So I'm doing better year on year than I was last year, because last year I did buy a new Ultra. But all of the best stuff that they showed off during Unpacked was on the software side. And I said this before, because I've been running the One UI 7 beta on my S24 Ultra, and I said I felt that it had transformed the device. It made it feel like a new device. And yeah, I know, like hardcore Samsungers, but there are a lot of people who are unhappy with it because of how iPhoney it is. But I guess that's exactly why it appeals to me. So like the app switcher, in One UI 7 is straight up lifted from iOS, isn't it? It's identical. You've
Yep.
got the lock screen editing. They've
That's-
they've
me show
lifted that interface as well.
That's comically similar.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look.
Although you still can't natively mask a subject and have it partially obscure the time. So that's one of my favourite things on
That
iPhone.
is annoying. Yeah, totally agree.
I can't show you because I'm not on camera. I will. But yeah, we've talked about this before. I really like, because my lock screen almost always has a photo of one of my children looking cute, and I like having part of their bobble hat or head or whatever to partially obscure the obscure the time, which you don't even have to think about on the iPhone. And you can do it on in One UI 7, but it's not as seamless, is it?
No, just very quickly then. So this is the iOS lock screen customization thing. I think anyone who's got an iPhone will be familiar with that. And this is the One UI 7, which is basically the same. Yeah.
And so I'm a big fan of all the changes they've made.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you swipe down on the left to get your notifications now, and you swipe down on the right to get your not control center. What's it called? Quick settings on One UI 7.
Quick settings, isn't it? I think, yeah.
Yeah, and they've brought along a bunch of other stuff, like you can turn off the app names. So that was a change in iOS 18, wasn't it? That you could opt to have bigger icons and remove the text label under the icons. So you can do that now. But it's apart from the fresh lick of paint, it's how fluid and smooth it is. So forever it's always been, it's pretty good, but like the iPhone is still the king of smoothness. I don't think it is anymore. I think One UI 7 is. It actually they've got the smoothness, but they've ramped up the responsiveness of the animation. So all those transitions, those fades, and those sort of zooms and scrolling, it feels much faster. And that, obviously you're looking at it on the new Snapdragon 8 Elite powered device. But I can assure you it's just as zippy on the S24 Ultra, even when you get around to putting One UI 7 on that.
I'm sure it is, yeah. I mean, it's, if anything, occasionally it feels better than iOS with that. I don't know if you've had the same thing with your iPhone recently, but mine's been jittery here and there. It's kind of struggled with certain things and weird kind of hangs and stuff. And One UI 7 just feels
if
polished.
You've got Apple Intelligence enabled,
Yeah,
I would turn that off.
Really?
A, it absolutely tanked my battery life, and B, I got weird stutters and glitches. It's
maybe that's what it is.
Absolutely not ready for.
Can we just quickly on that? Can we talk about Apple Intelligence? I want to show an example of something, which anyone who follows me on Instagram will have seen this. I know Rob, you've seen this as well. So, in the interest of fairness, I wanted to compare the object. Well, the thing is, comparing Apple Intelligence to Galaxy AI, they nearly called it Galaxy Intelligence then, but Galaxy AI isn't particularly fair because Apple Intelligence is beta. And Galaxy AI has had the march on it. It's been around for a lot longer. And also, Galaxy AI has a lot more stuff you can do with it. Particularly with image editing, you can do a lot more stuff and it tends to work. But I thought, okay, strip that back. Let's just do a very simple object removal test. And let me see if I can share this. First time we've done this on, and this is definitely a reason to watch on YouTube rather than listen to us. Let me just show the original photo. So let's share this. Is this going to work? Can we see that? Okay, so this guy, anyone in the chat, just tell me that you can see this. But this is basically, this is a fairly simple thing, isn't it? There's a coffee mug on a table, and I want to use AI to remove that from the image. Simple. So let me show you what Galaxy AI did. This is very slick, isn't it? Where are we? So Galaxy AI came up with this. No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did.
No one saw that. Did that work?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was weird. Let me try that again. Right, try again. Okay, yeah. So Galaxy AI. Firstly, what do you think to that? I mean, that's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, I've seen various examples of the object removal, and the Google do a spectacular job of this as well. Yeah, no, Apple are way behind. I mean, the example you're about to show is spectacularly bad, but yeah, no, Google and Samsung are streets ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's filled in everything, but it's even got rid of the shadow, I think, from the mug. So very impressive. Apple Intelligence. Now you will need to hold on to your trousers for this. This stopped me in my tracks yesterday once I tried it. Let's show you what Apple Intelligence did. So remove the mug, and it did that.
Yeah, well, and so
what is that?
I got your source photo, and I tried it myself. I got that exact output.
The same penguin wearing a scarf. What I looked at it a couple of times. It did like a kind of A/B between the original image and what this atrocity that it's created afterwards. And you can see it's retained some of the froth from the coffee on the top of the brown penguin's head. But where the penguin came from, I mean, it's not as though it's just kind of slightly screwed up the lines of the panels behind the table. It's done something completely unfathomable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Jan in the comments said, it looks like an insane cuddly toy. That's probably the best description of it I've heard so far.
So can you see what I'm saying?
No, let me take this off. Let me get rid of that. No one needs to see that.
Oh, hang on, get rid of these pictures of guitars. Hang on, sorry. Right. So I can you see what I'm saying?
Yep. Let me just take me out of here.
So I tried, because I've got all the I've got an S24 Ultra. I'm running One UI 7, and I've got the Galaxy I. Perhaps this is a beta problem, but I tried to. So I replicated your output on the iPhone, and it produced the exact same garbage that you saw. I tried to do it on a Galaxy phone, and I kept couldn't complete, try again later. And I thought, right, okay, fair enough. I left it 10 minutes, still didn't work. I thought, right, okay, we'll try rebooting the phone. Maybe that'll kick it into life. Still didn't work. I tried it again today, still doesn't work. But what I really wanted to show you was this amusing thing. Okay, so I thought, wow, I've got a Magic V3, but on a Magic V3 that also has some AI. They're similarly shoving AI down everyone's throats, aren't they? Do you want to see how Honor did?
Go for it.
So Honor removed the cup and replaced it with another cup.
It looks like a nicer coffee, to be fair. Wow. Why has it done that?
I don't know. I mean, it's the image eraser. You know, you hit it. There's an icon of a pencil eraser but no, it just replaced the cup with another cup.
Wow. Another example, just very quickly. That was obviously just one photo, wasn't it? If I just quickly show you another one, which again I don't think is particularly difficult. I don't think I'm really pushing the realms of AI with this stuff. But so what we had as the original photo was this, which is a miniature Tesla Cybertruck. Okay, so if I'll show you what Galaxy AI did with it. And this was the result, which, again, impressive. It's got rid of the shadow. It's filled in the whatever that travel mug thing is there, and looks good. In fact, it's even put or filled in the rest of the reflection from the mug as well, which is very good. Apple Intelligence did this. So where is it? Here we are. Firstly, what was annoying with it is that with Galaxy AI, you can just press tap once on the thing that you want to remove, and it pretty much perfectly outlines it. Apple Intelligence doesn't seem to do that. You have to draw around it, and drawing around that Cybertruck, it struggled with that immediately, so I knew I was in for a bit of a laugh afterwards. But this is what it did. No penguin, no insane cuddly toy, but it has inexplicably put some yellow blob at the back of it, and just made a complete hash of the rest of it. Now again, Apple Intelligence is in beta. Totally get that. That's kind of their get out of jail free card. But it's so bad with some of this stuff that I think it reinforces my belief that Apple didn't want to do this. I think they were so far behind with it. They've had to rush this stuff out. And even a company with as many resources and as much money as Apple has, they couldn't catch up in time. And it's just so far behind. It doesn't really bother me because I don't use this stuff. I don't ever need to remove things out of photos because why do you? I don't get a lot of the AI stuff. I do not understand fundamentally the whole writing assistant stuff. Make this text message sound more friendly. Who's ever needed to do that? Never. But people who do use it, it just makes the Galaxy stuff an absolute no-brainer. Let's stop sharing that. So that was my experience of Apple Intelligence, and Galaxy AI is streets ahead, if that's your thing.
Yeah. So, while we're talking about photos on the S25 Ultra, one of the most pleasing things is how smooth the transition is between lenses now. But not only that, but they've sorted out the white balance as well, isn't it? So in previous Galaxy Ultra phones, when you flip between the thing, you get completely different tone between each lens, which is something that Apple heavily promoted with their camera system, was that you'll get the same look regardless of the lens you use, because they go to quite a lot of effort to make sure that it's all consistent. And the smoothness of the flipping between those lenses, both in terms of when you're taking a photo, in terms of user experience, but also if you're taking a video, it was seamless, wasn't it? And
it was. Yeah.
Samsung are there now, I think.
They're pretty much there, yeah. They've got that smooth zoom as well for video, which is, again, you can see the transition between lenses occasionally, but you can have some good fun with that. But yeah, I mean, the white balance thing was weird anyway. I mean, that's surely quite an easy thing to fix and not have as an issue to begin with. But yeah, it's good. And the video quality is good as well.
No, it isn't. That's the thing. I think that's why Apple made such a big thing about it. So because there'll be variants within each sensor. And so you can't just do it with software. So you have to know what the variance is on the sensor in order to counteract it with software later. So they calibrate all of the sensors so that magic can happen seamlessly without you knowing what's going on. So I don't know how Samsung are achieving it, but it certainly looks much better than it's done in the past.
Yeah, fair enough. So overall, it's like you say, it's an S upgrade. It makes no sense for people who bought the phone last year or the year before, really. But for me, it's still the best flagship out there. It really is.
Really?
Yep, big fan of it. And if anyone's wondering, I'm not switching to it for two reasons. One is because I did that last year. And as much as I enjoyed using the S24 Ultra, I am an Apple person and I use a MacBook. I've thought a lot about this, and I talk about this in this weekend's video. And to be completely honest, it's just the MacBook is the thing that ties me to the iPhone, because I'm not going to switch to a Windows machine. I know you can use, there's all sorts of ways to get stuff off your Android phone onto macOS. I've been using Local Send a lot for that. That's quite good, but it's never as quick and smooth and just completely unbreakable as all the iCloud stuff and copying and pasting and transferring your clipboard between the two. I just miss that too much for work. The other reason is because this is a review unit, and at some stage it needs to go back to Apple, and we're investing a lot in the business at the minute, and I don't need to spend another £600-700 on a phone that I'm going to use for 6 months and then go back to the iPhone. But in reality, if I wasn't so dependent on my MacBook for my business, I would go and stick with the with the S25 Ultra, 100%. And I think anyone who's kind of wavering between the two platforms and who isn't so tied to something within the Apple ecosystem, I think it's the better phone, the S25 Ultra, still. The problem is that there aren't many people like that. Most people buy an iPhone, and then like me, perhaps like yourself, like other people that watch my channel, you get tied in, and that's how Tim gets you. It's frustrating.
There are so many more interesting devices in the Android space, though. my frustration historically with because as I say, I bought three Galaxy Ultra phones 3 years on the trot with the intention of trying to make it my main device, and I went to considerably more effort than you have the inclination to in terms of making it work in a mostly Apple setup.
You did.
And yeah, it just fought me.
Yeah, it does. You battle
Something
against it, don't you?
I can't make it, and I'm not particularly keen on anything going on in the wearable space. Although, actually, having said that, you've seen Pebble's making a comeback.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So, and that's the so the what was it, about 2012? Pebble came out, and it was your OG smartwatch, wasn't it? And huge following even now, and then Google bought it and killed it, and then the founder went off to start Beeper. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
So Beeper came from the founder of Pebble, and now Beeper has now been sold to Automatic, the WordPress people, and so he's got a big pile of cash, and so he's bringing Pebble back. I'm quite excited about that. I think that'll be fun.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Going back to what you say about phones, though, just very quickly, just to kind of reiterate, that when I say the S25 Ultra is the best phone I've used, it's the best flagship phone, I think. I have to be very careful to kind of illustrate that, because there are far more interesting phones below the £1,000 price bracket, or even around the £1,000 area. One of them being the OnePlus 13, and I've had loads of requests to compare this against the S25 Ultra, which I will be doing because I think it's a very good comparison, very interesting comparison. But even below that, there's some
got loads of
fascinating
options.
phones.
So you got the Vivo X200 Pro, which has got the best camera out of any phone on the planet right now. Not that you can buy it in the UK without jumping through some hoops, but the camera system in that is spectacular, is it? You've had one, haven't you?
I've got one, it's absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, best smartphone camera I've ever used. Yeah,
and then you got like the OnePlus 13, which is just an all-round spectacular device and costs way less than an S25 Ultra, or even the Magic 7 Pro. I think that I really like Honor's color science, and like the hardcore portrait modes are delightful.
Yeah.
So
really good.
Yep. I think if I were in the market for a flagship smartphone, I don't think I would be buying an S. Well, evidently I haven't bought an S25 Ultra. I'm quite, and it's not because there's anything wrong with it. It's not because I hate Samsung. I'm just quite happy with my S24 Ultra, and I'd rather save my pennies for something more interesting, like the Nothing Phone 3. There'll be a Nothing Phone 3 this year.
Yeah,
that'll be quite interesting.
I don't blame you at all. I think it's just for people who want the absolute best, most expensive phone. You are looking at these two, really, aren't you? You're looking at the others are technically flagships within their own, within the brands they've come from, but these are more expensive, generally speaking. I know we've got the whole flip and fold thing as well, but forgetting that, it is between these two, and it's every year it's the battle that people are interested in, isn't it? I just enjoy picking up this more, the S25 Ultra. It's a more enjoyable phone to use. But there are far more interesting and far more affordable phones that offer pretty much the same stuff, really, further down the chain.
Oh, I've just remembered the Edge, the thin phone teaser. So that's an odd strategy, because for people like me who are on the fence, because I'm with my coupons stacking and then like umming and ahhing and then them sending me another one to get another 50 quid off or whatever. So 522 quid is what it would have cost me to get one. But then I was like, yeah, but there's that Edge coming. I think if I were going to spend some money on a Samsung phone this year, I'd rather put it towards that.
Yeah, I need to. I've not seen it in person. It should do. I mean, it didn't look that thin in the. I don't know if you thought the same thing, but it was a bit slightly underwhelming. It looks like a very nice device, but it didn't seem to be that thin in the imagery that I saw. It must be. I mean, there must be a reason they're calling it the Edge, bringing back that name. But also, we know that Apple is potential, or I think it's fairly nailed on, is it, that we're going to see some kind of slim iPhone Air thing this year. So Samsung's got to do the same thing, haven't they? But it didn't look that thin. Or am I being unfair?
I can't off the top. Maybe it hasn't been. Maybe no one's actually measured it. I don't know. Maybe you weren't allowed to. But people have seen it in the flesh, and I think it is quite thin. I think we're talking like a Magic V3 or unfolded thin. I think it's
Hope so. That'd be great.
proper thin. Although it hasn't got the wacky new battery technology in it, as far as I'm aware. I think it's still got old school battery, because everyone's moving to this silicon carbon like magic batteries to get the thinness down. I don't think they've done it.
No, and also it's only got 2 cameras, hasn't it? There's only, from the looks of it, 2 lenses. So be interesting to see what they've chosen for that. There's no release date for this yet either. It's obviously coming this year, I think, but no indication of when.
Yeah.
That was Unpacked. One thing about Unpacked, which from my perspective was really nice, was the fact that it was just the phones. There was no watches, no tablets, no laptops. I mean, the last 2 or 3 years there's been tons of stuff, and it's very tricky to know what to focus on. But
was it just the phones, Mark? It was 10% phones and 90% AI bollocks.
AI,
is what it
yeah. There's another caption for another show title. It was completely, it was drowned in AI. And I've talked about this on my Tech Diary video, which goes live today, I think. It's overwhelming and it's a bit too much. And we get it. These phones do this stuff. And as we've demonstrated a moment ago, Galaxy AI is streets ahead of what Apple is doing. But enough's enough, And what bothers me, I think it does overshadow the devices themselves. I think, it was literally 90% AI and 10% here's our new phones. And it does get a bit draining, to be honest. And I'm far more interested in the hardware and in what else the operating system can do. I do think there's been a bit of a backlash with this. It's not gone down very well in the media, in the press. I think people have got a bit exhausted by AI. I think we'll probably see brands pulling back on that a bit, I think, throughout this year and probably into next year. I hope so anyway. I really hope so.
Yeah. Oh, I do have to remind people that I also did not upgrade to an iPhone 16 this year. So I think I'm getting old and grumpy in my old age. Because what I did for the first time ever, I actually got an iPhone on launch day, because for one reason or another I just always lost the launch day lottery and ended up getting one in December or something when the availability was better. So for the first time ever, I got a launch day iPhone, and then sent it back the next week because it just didn't inspire me at all. Which is it's a worrying state of affairs for someone who is so clearly into technology as I have been historically, and the reason why we have these chats every 2 weeks. And it's not doing it for me, Mark.
It's tough. It's not that exciting, is it? Really, it's phones are phones, and again, I don't envy the people that have to come up with this new stuff. I mean, what do you do in a phone development team now or in the marketing department? It's leaping on AI. It's making things thinner. One thing I will say, the last thing about the S25 Ultra is that it does reveal that the camera control is an utterly pointless button, and the action button is as well. If you count the number of buttons,
the new Photos app is lovely, isn't it? Because they've moved all the controls down to where you can actually use them one-handed with your thumb. It's just decluttered. It's more ergonomic because everything is within reach. And then once you've taken your photos, the Photos app, or the gallery app, is much better than what the Apple have done to Photos on iOS 18.
What has Apple done to it? That's another example of something where when I pick up the S25 Ultra, I enjoy going into the gallery app because it's like you say, it's well organised. You can find things. I don't know about you, but every time, I'm not overdoing this, every time I go into Photos on iOS now, I've got no idea where I am. Am I in an album? Am I looking at the media view? I'm looking at photos. It's a horrendous mess that they've made of that. But just very quickly going back to the button side of things. So I hadn't really considered this, but the S25 Ultra has 2 buttons, 3 if we're being picky, because one of them is a rocker switch for the volume. But physically, 2 buttons, 1, 2. The iPhone 16 Pro Max has 5, so it has power, it has camera control, it has the 2 up and down volume, and the action button. And I think 2 of those at least aren't needed. But yeah, I'm really glad that Samsung didn't add a photo taking button because it's utterly pointless. And yeah, rant over.
Well, I'm going to counter that with I'm annoyed that they didn't add the Qi 2 magnet capability, especially
True.
since they've just announced a wallet, a MagSafe wallet. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, you will. It's not out yet, but you will be able to get a Samsung branded, what's essentially their equivalent of a MagSafe wallet, which you can't actually use with your phone unless you get a MagSafe case.
Which is weird, isn't it? That is something the iPhone absolutely has over the Samsung. Definitely, I agree. MagSafe is great. I would miss that. Excuse me, I would miss that if I didn't have it.
Yeah. So on the subject of Apple, did you see their results?
No, but I have read them very briefly in the outline that you put in. So, iPhone revenue down 1%.
Wow. Yeah. So this is why I was getting onto it. I think the general sentiment amongst sort of tech enthusiasts, I think there must be a lot of people like me that either just didn't bother upgrading to iPhone 16 or bought one and sent it back. Yeah, so they're up 4% overall year on year, $124 billion, which is they're doing all right, aren't they? But but of that, basically iPhone revenue was down 1%, but that was offset by the Mac revenue being up by 16%, the iPad revenue being up by 16%, services being up by 14%. And also within that mix, sales in China were down 11%. So, which kind of makes sense because there are so many fun Chinese phones that we are difficult for us to get over there, but obviously widely available there. That are, just more a more appealing option.
Yeah, big time.
So, it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. Well, I mean, all the rumours seem to suggest they're going to make big moves into smart home stuff, aren't they?
Yeah. I hope they do. We need some interesting stuff, don't we? We do need Siri to be improved still. That's one. We haven't really spoken about that today, but if they can get Siri better, and like you say, do more smart home stuff, I'll absolutely dive into that. But remains to be seen, doesn't it?
I don't know. As long as I can reliably set timers and do smart home stuff, I'm kind of happy. I'm still on the fence about if I could have a genuinely conversational AI. But I don't want to feel like I'm living in the movie Her. Do you remember Her?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I mean, that's where it's headed, isn't it?
It is. It does feel like that, doesn't it? Yep.
So, well, actually, it's quite timely. As of today, in fact, Meta portals are dead. So all of the back-end services have been cut off as of today. So in recent weeks, those who were still using their Meta portals would have got a blue screen of death pop up saying, hey, as of the 31st of January 2025, this thing will no longer work. So all the third-party apps have been removed, all of the back-end services have been removed, so you can't video call on it, you can't upload photos to it. It's bricked, it's e-waste now. So I am genuinely in need of a smart home speaker with a display, because there are no viable options out there at the moment.
There's not.
HomePod doesn't have a display. Amazon have completely lost interest in the Echoes, haven't they? So it's 2023. I think they basically sacked everyone on the Echo team, didn't they? And the stuff that they've come out with has been half-assed, and they just annoy me because of the amount of guff they keep trying to pump into my living room and kitchen and other places that I have Echo shows. And the Alexa has become less and less responsive, and it's a frustrating.
It's all falling apart, isn't it? Yeah.
But then on the other side of the fence, you've got your Google hubs, your Nest hubs, and I suppose technically the most recent efforts. I mean, they haven't released a new smart home speaker with a display since like 2021 or something, which was the Nest Home Max thingy.
Well, you had the Pixel tablet.
I knew you were going to say that. My next point was you could count the Pixel tablet with the dock in. I don't count that because it's primarily a tablet first that happens to have a speaker dock, and the speaker in that dock isn't very good, and it's £600 for that combination. It's too much money, I think.
And also, we still use ours, but only for one thing, which is to have the Google Photos library sync to it, which is quite nice. It does mean that photos keep popping up on there, but that we don't use it as a smart device at all. But the whole thing's just ripe for being sorted out, and why can't Apple just do that? We've got the HomePod still in the kitchen just for music, But it's almost unusable for that because Siri is so bad on it. It's genuinely horrendous on there. It's almost given up listening to me or Jen, and it just struggles with the simplest of tasks. And just surely, with all again going back to all this AI stuff, why can't we just get a proper, reliable, great, and also teamed with a really good speaker Home Assistant? Why hasn't that happened yet? Surely this year, maybe we'll get that. Maybe this is the year that Apple sorts it out.
Well, all roads are leading to them doing that. So yeah, Gurman and all the usual suspects. So that can't come quickly enough for me because I have a genuine need for. And I'll tell you. So I mean, historically, what I've done is, or pretty much everyone in my family has got an Echo Show somewhere, or my dad's got a Google Hub Max, and so we've got a family photo album on Amazon, the Amazon Family Vault. So if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get like unlimited photo backup, and you can set up what's called a family vault, and then you can invite everyone in your family to that. So everyone in my family has got access to that, so they can both get our latest photos and share theirs, and then all our photos from family events get pushed out to everyone's Echo Shows or whatever. And also because my dad's all Google, as you know, he's got my old nothing phones, and he's got the googly hub. He's proper on the Google side of the fence, which is fine. but I also put everything onto Google as well. So essentially, I've just got a really tidy workflow where I can upload my photos, and then it just gets distributed everywhere, and everyone else's photos come to me as well. Because otherwise, you've got like WhatsApp groups, and it all gets a bit hectic, and it's just a mess. So yeah, if I don't know how I would work an Apple speaker into that, because that would obviously only work with our iCloud. So I'd have to do some rejigging to my photo sharing workflow. But yeah, I need that.
Fingers crossed. Right, Rob, we've somehow got to the end of this podcast without everything falling apart.
Well, just
what's the silly thing?
The start, and just
it did fall apart at the start. Fair. What's the silly thing? What's this macOS calculator caterpillar?
Oh, it's just this is a silly thing that I noticed the other day. Actually, while I get that set up, I bought the AstroPad bookcase, which was like to Kindleify your iPad. So it's a MagSafe set of stabilizers, handles for your iPhone, which I bought because it's ridiculous, and I expected to buy it to ridicule it, but I actually quite like it. It's actually really nice to have it automatically fire up my reading app of choice as soon as I put the device in, lower the brightness, change the, it just with one action. So, no having to hit buttons or do sliders or any of that stuff. I just put the phone in the bookcase, and then I am in my reading context, and it's do not disturb, and it's set automatically. It's lovely, right? But they've I just know that you have helped sell an awful lot of paper-likes.
Yeah, to put it mildly, yeah.
Because it's a good product. They've got an equivalent called Rock Paper Pencil, so I've put a link in there. So while I'm getting my calculator caterpillar set up, if you go and have a look at that and see what you think. It essentially gives you a ballpoint pen feeling. So it's a pen and screen protector combination product that gives you an even more true to life writing experience that you and your audience might enjoy.
Interesting. We'll put a link in the description for that, definitely.
So give me a sec to set up the calculator.
I'm fascinated by this calculator thing. Are you going to share your screen?
It's good. I think you're more excited than it warrants. Hang on, So can you see my desktop?
Yes, we've got it.
Okay, so I just noticed this the other day in the calculator app. This is completely pointless, and it's an absolute waste of everyone's time. But I couldn't find anything even sillier, so I'm going to run with it. So if you hit Control Command and S, right, it brings up your calculation history. I don't know. Is that showing in my screen share? I can't see myself.
It says no history.
Yeah.
No,
that's good, right? But
Okay.
then you can hit Command Control and S to take it away, and you would expect it to disappear into the app where whence it came, right? But it doesn't. The whole app shifts over, so you can make the calculator shift across your screen like that. Just a funny little quirk I noticed the other day.
Oh wow, okay. That wasn't what I was expecting, but
No.
I was expecting some kind of Easter egg, like there was actually a caterpillar inside it or something.
No, afraid
Okay. How long did you play with that for?
not. Far too long.
Never mind. On that note, we got through it. We did it. Don't know how we did it, Rob, but we did it. We've also had one of our biggest audiences.
I quite like this laid back vibe where you're not in the studio. You're just sitting
Perhaps
in front
it's
of your
better.
piano.
Yeah, I could just play as a little tune, couldn't I? I won't be doing that.
So,
Yeah,
but if I had everything set up on my MacBook, I could have gone and just sat in my lounge as well, and then you'd have been able to see my face. But
perhaps we just do it from wherever we are every time, because we keep having these scheduling conflicts, don't we? Maybe we just forget about that being tied into being in certain places, but it's worked.
that's
We
been
got
alright,
it.
isn't it?
We've only seen a static version of you, and we've only seen that plus your brother-in-law's sausage. But apart from that, you've been here in spirit, which is the main thing. We've also had quite a big audience, guys, so thank you for joining in. Thank you for your little comments and stuff. There's some interesting stuff in there which we didn't read out, but appreciate it. And yeah, just a reminder that you can watch this on YouTube, so come and hit subscribe, check out the newsletter like I mentioned earlier, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Jump on Discord. Come and say hi.
Absolutely. Join, so subscribe to the newsletter, get that free access to the Discord server. You can go and chat to Rob. I occasionally dip in there, not very often these days because I leave everyone else to it, but I do jump in occasionally myself. But yeah, if you want to make friends with Rob on there, go for it. Right, let's bounce, as the kids say. Thanks for watching, guys, and Rob will chat again in 2 weeks.
Hi, see you then.
See you then.